Sesame seed pods are another thing that I really hadn't had any experience with until they started growing them out in the garden this year. As you can see, we've got them inside. Steve did mention that if you want to get them through the growing season in time, one of the things that you might consider rather than planting them as direct seed is to transplant them into the garden after the frost date and start them a little bit earlier that way, and then you can get them to the final stage that you need them. I would recommend that you do let them turn dark, and the idea of putting them into a bag to catch the seeds as the pods shatter I thought was really good. I tried cutting these open, and the pods are very hard. So that if you're going to do very many of these, I think you've got a challenge ahead of you. Also, the idea of getting these out, they're lined up in a very attractive manner, but the idea of getting them out to use them before they're ready, I think maybe more than any of us want to take on. The kinds of things that you're going to have when you do get them out and they are dried are going to look like these. Now, the sesame seeds that most of us are familiar with look like this. These are hulled. The type that you're going to be getting out of the pods will be whole. You can use them in this manner, but they'll be a little bit different. They're a little bit darker, and in actuality they're a little bit healthier this way because they have the bran intact. The whole thing is there, so that you also are going to get higher amounts of calcium than you would in some of these other forms, a little bit more phosphorus as well. Now, these are raw. Most of the time people are going to toast them before they eat them. You can use them this way. Sometimes we season vegetables with them in this manner, just sprinkled on. This is the form that we also use the most commonly in the United States by sprinkling them like this on bread products, and we then toast them as they are cooked in the oven. This is an example of those that have been toasted. It's very easy to do. You just take them like this, sprinkle them in a flat pan that does have some sides, otherwise they're going to be all over your oven before you're ready for them. Try and even them out as much as possible. Put them in an oven about 350 degrees for somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes. You probably will want to open the oven to stir them from time to time or to shake the pan. What I did was simply open the oven about every 5 minutes and simply go like this, and that seemed to wiggle them around enough, and shut the oven door quickly. If you shake them often enough, you probably will have to extend your baking time or the toasting time, because every time you open the oven door you're going to lose a fair amount of heat. So it may take you a little bit longer if you shake them more frequently. You can also do this in a heavy frying pan or a heavy skillet simply by putting them on about 350 degrees again, or a medium heat, and doing the same thing, stirring them fairly often so that they don't get overcooked on one side and not on the other. Another thing that you may come across from time to time are black sesame seeds, and I couldn't find any for the show today, but those are available in some markets, primarily in Oriental markets and in some of the markets from other cultures. So you may want to keep your eyes open. They may be a little bit fun. I would recommend buying that variety, however, rather than just overcooking the ones that you have that you normally would use. Another thing that we come across with sesame products is tahini. Now, tahini is a sesame paste. It's very similar in concept to peanut butter. They have ground it up and blended it or pureed it, and these tahini is made from the hulled sesame seeds rather than the whole sesame seeds, and it's used in a lot of different kinds of dishes from the Mideast. You can see that it is a paste, and you can just stir some onto vegetables or use recipes that are specifically designed for it. But it's got a different flavor than some of the other things that we often use to season with. Another thing that you could do at home is something similar to this. Rather than using the whole seeds, you can make sesame butter simply by blending the whole seed rather than the hulled, either in a food processor or in a blender until it comes down into a paste, and then you have a sesame butter that you can substitute for butter in other kinds of recipes. Again, probably not the best idea to use in baking, but it would work very well in seasoning other kinds of vegetables. Sesame seeds are very high in oil. As a result, we also have sesame oil available in markets. It does have a lower smoke point than some of the other types that we use, so we're more apt to use it as a flavoring at the end of a product rather than something to fry in. The smoke point where it's going to start to smoke is around 420 as opposed to 495 for soybean oil. I hope you'll give these a try. For Oklahoma Gardening, this is Barbara Brown.